That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
It's the early 90s. You're bored. But there's no smartphones, no social media, no Netflix. So what do? You could go outside maybe. Maybe hop on a bike, fall down in some woods, and end up in the upside down. Oh wait, wrong show. Or you could call some friends over, grab a camera, go down in the basement, and put your imagination to use. That's right, we're making porn. I mean, movies. Completely innocent, homemade movies. From 2001 to 2004, our television screens were blessed with the sheer greatness of home movies. A show about a kid and his two friends making their own films in his basement. Brendan Small, the creator, got the idea for the show from exactly what I just mentioned, being a kid and making your own films for fun. The show originally aired on UPN in 1999 but was cancelled after 5 episodes because of poor reception. Luckily, when Cartoon Network was actually good and showed more than just Teen Titans Go all day, decided to pick the show back up in 2001, and it eventually started airing as one of the first shows on Adult Swim. Even after getting picked back up, the show really didn't do that well, and only got renewed each season because Cartoon Network themselves liked the show. The show really didn't get too much traction until after it finished airing in 2004. This is a crying shame because this is easily one of the best shows that have aired on Adult Swim. Maybe it was the fact that the show looks like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. One of my favorite things about this show is that it's mostly improv. I'm pretty sure there was some type of loose direction or script to follow, but other than that, the recording for this show was just a bunch of people sitting around for hours saying whatever came to mind. This only really works if the cast gets along well, and home movies pulled that off perfectly. Every episode feels extremely natural and smooth. Also, improv allows for great moments like this to happen.
I swear to God, I think I'm off women altogether.
No,
Brendan, let me tell you a little bit something about women.
What's that?
Women are they're like men.
The show stars Brendan Small, who is also voiced by Brendan Small. He's an 8-year-old aspiring filmmaker who makes his own films in his basement with his friends Melissa and Jason. Melissa is the more sensible one of the group, always questioning what Brendan and Jason are doing. Jason, on the other hand, is the more wild and wacky one, always getting into different shenanigans. He has a sugar addiction and his parents are never shown but only alluded to. Paula, Brendan's mom, is a divorced single mother. She's a writing teacher but is unemployed later in the show. She's also really bad at doing teacher conferences. Like, really bad.
F this, that, fucking phonics. It's a problem.
Coach McGurk is probably my favorite character of the show. In my eyes, he's the voice of wisdom, always giving advice and sharing his view on things. In reality, he's a lonely alcoholic that has a hard time making friends, his only real ones being Brendan, Melissa, and Jason. Also, he's been to jail, so I'm not even sure how he got the job as a kid soccer coach. Each season of the show has no real story for the most part. It's mostly just one-off episodes. I don't really mind this though, and it reminds me of the earlier seasons of Adventure Time and Regular Show, or even South Park, but a completely toned-down version without the politics. Each episode follows Brendan, Melissa, and Jason as they get themselves into different scenarios. One week it might be getting into a fight with a bully, and another week it might be blowing up an entire building. Of course, during all this, they're always filming some sort of movie typically related to what's going on with the main plot. Coach McGurk is usually used as a B-plot for a lot of the episodes and oftentimes ends up helping the kids with whatever they're doing. One of my favorite episodes of the show is Law and Border. Brendan gets hit by a car while riding a bike and somehow he gets sued for it. Also, let's take a moment to appreciate this intro. For a show that looks like this, it's pretty nice. We're introduced to Paula's friend Stephanie in this episode, and she serves as a B-plot. He returns in other episodes too, but is usually just to bang Coach McGurk. The next day, the police show up to tell Brendan he has a court date.
What the dog doing?
His mom is the first one to get the information, and she doesn't seem that mad, as if it's normal for an 8-year-old to go to court. Paula asks Stephanie to take Brendan to court, but she ends up forgetting because of her own personal problems.
It's a good couch. I got my shoes on the couch. What do you think about that? They're on there, and you're gone.
Who's the next best person to represent Brendan in the face of the law? That's right, it's Coach McGurk. In the courthouse, after McGurk tries to help, both of them are forced to write an essay. In typical Brendan fashion, he decides to make a film out of it instead. This goes terribly though, and he is then sentenced to 4 months of weekend community service. An 8-year-old. The episode ends when Coach McGurk is arrested for failing to turn in the essay that the court assigned him. This is one of the more odd episodes of the show, but whole movies also touches on more serious topics like relationships, having divorced parents and needing to go to therapy, or even drug addiction, or rather, candy addiction. I especially liked how season 2 has sort of a 3-part episode where Brendan hangs out with his dad and meets his soon-to-be fiancée. This leads to them needing therapy because no one can get along and even questioning whether they'll still get married. However, they end up going through with it and it serves as a finale to the second season. It's good that the show can be serious at times as opposed to shows like South Park where everything is a joke about everything. Don't get me wrong, I love South Park, but I can also appreciate things like home movies too. The last episode of the show, Focus Grill, ends the series off well in my opinion. Brendan has a group of friends over to give comments on his new movie. No one seems to like it though, leading Melissa and Brendan into an argument. Jason interrupts to give a great speech and suggests that they watch their first movie. They realize it isn't finished and decide to film 3 different endings and have the focus group rate them. This was a bad mistake as each ending had bad reception. Meanwhile, Coach McGurk has been trying to build a grill in Brendan's backyard, even going as far to spend the night. Once the grill is done, they try to turn it on, but it explodes, and somehow everyone doesn't die. The episode ends after everyone is in the car trying to decide what to eat. Brendan is filming but drops his camera out of the window, forcing him to leave his days of directing and acting behind. I really like how the episode was sort of a metaphor for the series ending. Sometimes it can be hard to come up with a conclusion, and I'm sure it was hard to pick the right one. Home Movies is a great show and I recommend for everyone to watch it. The whole series is pretty easy to find, so there's no excuse not to. It's a shame that it had to end though, as it is with all good things. But Home Movies is more than just a show that should be forgotten. It's a show about being a kid, having fun, and making movies in your basement. It's one of my favorite shows and I would love it if it came back, but I highly doubt that will happen. But for now, all we're left with is 4 great seasons to remember it by. Also, if you don't subscribe, Coach McGurk is going to come to your house and beat you up.
This is gonna sound really weird, guys. Honestly, I don't think our movies should be watched.
They shouldn't?
No.
Then why are we making them?
I have no idea why we make them. All I know is this. We keep coming here after school every single day, and we just keep doing it. And then, I don't know, and then we just do it, and I guess it feels like we should just be doing it, I guess. I don't know.
Weird. We are... God, we're weird.
What's wrong with us?
I don't know.
We're weirdos.
Guys, upstairs! Grill's ready!
Yeah.